Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much. In this video, I'd like to talk about what is the future of Muda now that Syed Saddiq has been found not guilty, although the AGC will certainly make an appeal. But it would be interesting to look at the history of Muda with Syed Saddiq, and then the last few years, what had happened to it, and project, will it become a serious third force, or will it still become what it is seen to be now, which is a spoiler party? Now, what is a spoiler party? Spoiler party is simply a party perhaps being encouraged by other parties to actually take a few votes in order to deny the win to Pakatan Harapan. I think that's called a spoiler party. They come into the election not to win, but just to spoil. For the simple reason that they have no machinery on the ground, they may even not have any intention at all to actually seriously participate. But in politics, there are many ways one can get into power, and certainly Muda may be exploring not the traditional way to power, which is through election. Now, when Muda was first formed, I was very excited, I was very happy, I trusted Syed Saddiq, and I thought that he was one of our youngest leaders and the future of Malaysia. He attached himself to Tun Dr. Mahathir, which is fine. And then he was into Bersatu. And the thing that happened was that during the Sheraton move, he did not follow Muhyiddin Yassin into Perikatan Nasional. And from then on, he was charged with this corruption charge. So I think it happened when the Sheraton move occurred, and he had refused to come in, and suddenly there is this charge level against him, and he had been convicted of it. And I was never really seriously thinking that Syed Saddiq was actually a corrupt person like most of the politicians. To me, it's just that how politics work in Malaysia, as well as in organization where you may have to keep money to have a certain way of doing things. But when you are not playing the game, then you will be threatened with some things, and that's what happened, I think. And so Syed Saddiq was charged, and now he has won his appeal. Now, with respect to Muda, ever since it was formed, it had boasted over 70,000 members, and I was expecting to see a lot of social media content from Muda. I was very excited, but what I saw was just Syed Saddiq dancing with Namwi, Syed Saddiq making all the TikToks, and it's all centered around Syed Saddiq. And this was disturbing, because then what were the other people doing? And who are the line of new leaders or leadership? Even Amira did not come out to be very strong. And so when the election came, Syed Saddiq had to rely on Pakatan Harapan, and Amira also had to rely on Pakatan Harapan to win their seats. This is a fact of history. Muda did not win by itself. And then when Syed Saddiq applied to join the coalition of Pakatan Harapan, I think he was so-called not being entertained by Anwar Ibrahim, and he got very angry and suddenly turned his guns to Pakatan Harapan in a lot of issues. And then in the state elections, he had put up several of his people to contest several elections, which I don't think they were going to win, but they went into it anyway, with the idea that, well, since nobody wants us, we're going to go in this alone. Now, as with the independent candidates, you're not going to win if you are not aligned with some people. And so this is what happened, where Muda managed to pull some votes from certain candidates. Therefore, it caused the loss, quite a significant loss of numbers of seats in Selangor. So this is what had happened. And then we can see that Muda has set a path to be not aligned with Perikatan Nasional, but more friendly towards Perikatan Nasional, in the sense that they were providing ammunitions and they were picking on issues, very, very simplistic issues, just to create issues so that they become noticeable or relevant, but more important, damaging to Pakatan Harapan. So this sets up a difficult situation where people will see, had seen Muda, Syed Saddiq and Amira and Muda as what we call biting the hands that feed, because they had won the election from the Pakatan Harapan. So what we call the biting the hands that feed, yeah. So this is a problematic in that sense. After that, we saw that there was some allegations of Muda being with Daim Zainuddin, because Amira was seen to be with the wife of that Daim Zainuddin. So people started to think, oh, were they financed by a certain group of interested parties, because now those parties were investigated by the MACC under the Anwar Ibrahim government, or the unity government. And knowing Syed Saddiq's very tight relationship with another rich individual, Dr. Mahathir, then the image has become that Muda may be a tool by certain factions to actually spoil votes. This tactic is a very normal tactic. I heard stories in Sabah and Sarawak where certain parties paid certain people to set up parties in order for people to vote for them, not to win necessarily, but to actually spoil votes. But if they won, then they will be secretly under the ruling party, when in fact they were supposed to be the opposition. So this is a certain kind of war tactic, and we have to accept that, because that's part of democracy. There's nothing illegal about it. If you're going to be a fake candidate, I can offer myself to, let's say I'm very famous, and I can offer myself, say, look, I could pull some votes away from Pakatan Harapan and make sure your candidate win if you give me ringgit 1 million, something like that. And I think during one election where PAS contested all the seats, knowing that they cannot win in the mixed seat, again they were also acting partly as a spoiler for the then Barisan Nasional under Najib Tun Razak. Many people suspected that some understanding was involved, and I had also saw that, and I have been with PAS for 30 years. They don't have that kind of money to actually throw away on all these elections, because every time ceramah we would give money. I would give 50 ringgit, or even when the election time come, I would give Dr. Hataram 1,000 ringgit for PAS to actually contest. So how were they able to contest so many seats when they know they were not able to win these seats? So all that while, we do not see, number one, any other people except maybe Muda, Syed Saddiq and Amira making statements on behalf of Muda. We don't see any other people, and maybe they had done one demonstrations, but about after that there's nothing. And this is something which is very disturbing. Until now, Muda has not shown any presence in the social media. I have had several members come to my house, even though I had criticized Muda very heavily, and I had advised them and offered my help in order to make them more relevant and not dependent on any other party to help them. So even then, there is still nothing you can see in the social media. So we see that now that Syed Saddiq has been quite very quiet and also have been seen to be quite friendly with Pakatan Harapan, and with his newfound freedom, what is the fate of Muda in the very near future, just before the election? What will happen in GE16? Now, my prediction is that one prediction is that Muda might then relegate to its original position of depending on Pakatan Harapan without becoming a coalition partner, or they may be even allowed to become one. But how would they be accepted? I mean, there are also other parties like the Malaysian Advance Party, MAP, my friend Waitamurti, also applying to be with Pakatan Harapan but not being accepted. So we can only hear his voice or read his thoughts or his opinion. But insofar as any other activities, as I said, now in the digital media we see content, what we call good content, but there doesn't seem to be any. So there is also the problem of dividing the number of seats now between UMNO and also other parties that were not originally with the Pakatan Harapan, New PACs. So Muda has not shown their teeth in terms of their real teeth. What have they shown is, I don't know what, false teeth or somebody else's teeth. So the fact is, the past few years or past years that Muda has been in existence, they have not shown much. They have not shown much. I would say virtually nothing at all. So we will see for the next 6 months maybe whether they will up their game, and then we can tell whether they will still be a spoiler party or they will be a small part of the Pakatan Harapan, or perhaps they might actually convince people like Rafizi or KJ to come in, and then they will become a serious third force. If they can work with PSM, which I think PSM is also a problem party because of the old mentality of politics, wanting their ideology, ideals, and all their socialist concepts without understanding the pragmatism of the present. So will they become, maybe Muda, MAP, PSM, Urimai, and others can form a real third force? Will they be able to do that? Or, as I said, Muda becomes just another spoiler party and hinges their fate with Syed Saddiq and Amira alone, or they will become part of the Pakatan Harapan. I'm not sure that will happen because, as I said, all the things that Syed had said, showing his total disloyalty, and also the fact that Muda doesn't have anything to show at all. So what I hope to happen is that I hope that Syed Saddiq can take back the reins, because it doesn't seem to have any other leader than him. And then instead of him alone, I would like to see many other members of his political party to actually be more in front, more forward in writing, in doing media talks, in doing podcasts, in having interviews. But please do not act like the University of Malaysia Sabah students, putting up demonstration, burning pictures and banners. Although some people say this is part of democracy, I think it's silly. Anyone who says that burning the picture of a politician is part of democracy, they should consider whether burning the Quran or burning the Bible is also part of democracy. And the answer is yes, of course, it's part of Western democracy. But is it part of our way of life? Now that is another thing. I have read articles by academics who say, well, you know, in democracy, this is this done, this, so what? So what? Democracy is not the privilege of the Western people. Simply an idea, and there are adapts to it. We have to put it into a certain culture. It cannot remain that, oh, democracy, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, and you can do that. And all we have is these ideas from the West. Now, why don't we put up our own precedent and our own ideas and our own historical tradition for others to follow, such as not burning effigies or images of a politician, because that shows finality, that shows what we call, how can you have politics when you burn bridges? When you burn bridges, there's no more politics. Politics is about the possibility of working together. In whatever manner possible, that's politics. Some people don't like it. They say, no, principles should not mix with this immoral behavior of others. But that's why we have politics. That's how I understand it. I'm not trying to agree with it. Until you are married, you have 5 adult children, then you should understand what it means to actually give and take, understand, be part of this and that, and what we call real politics. So with that, I think I pray that Muda come to its senses and then start becoming its own with all this presence. Then we can see whether they are important, whether they can draw a significant number of young people who's actually now most of the Malays not being able to think and being sentimental to religion or other nationalistic, racial policies or opinions. And I think there's a lot of the problem with young people when I see the social media, and I hope Muda can take that on and actually change Malaysia towards the better, so that all of us can enjoy a new idea of Malaysia away from all the old politics of Barisan Nasional, and start anew to something which we can say that we have the power to, all of us, to change Malaysia. So with that, good luck to Syed Saddiq and Muda. Thank you. Hi everybody. If you would like to own my book and have my signature as well as a personal note from me, please follow the instruction. Thank you.